And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here as we are set for chase race number 5, the midway point of the chase for the championship, and we are here today at Lime Rock Raceway Park. Now, one quick thing, you may notice this doesn't look anything like the Lime Rock we ran knockout qualifying at. It's because it's not. I was hoping to run the Lime Rock 2013 version for the race, but when I ended up putting the cars into the grid and everything, I found out the grid only holds 36 cars, and I'm not going to really, being a chase race, I'm not going to do like heat races and then a main race, that kind of a thing. That'd just be kind of stupid to do. If it were the regular season, maybe I'd do something like that, but instead, since that wouldn't hold a 42-car field, instead we've moved to the Lime Rock bus stop version 4 like we normally ran, the one that we ran last year as well, because that does hold 42 cars. So unfortunately, we don't get a nice looking, new graphic looking racetrack, but hey, should be still some good racing. As on the pole position for this race is Chris Dodd in the 08 car, a chaser this season, would love to be able to pick up his 3rd win of the year and lock himself up a spot in the next round of the chase for the championship, and he'll start off alongside of rookie Nathan Hudson, trying to get his first career win, first win of the season as well for Michael Norman Motorsports. But let's take a look at the rear of the field here. There are a lot of notable names that are starting near the rear here. There's Anthony McCrory in the 61, James Richardson in the 11, Dylan Poteet in the 31. You can see Zachary Fitzwater there as well in the 76, and Charles Sanford's not starting much better either in the 03. So at a track where track position is so key, it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers do in fighting their way up through the field in a caution-free 25-lap event. Let's get command.
Drivers, start your engines!
There's the command to fire them up. So they'll make a pace lap around here, and you'll get to see what's going to be in store for these drivers. The defending winner of this race rolls off from the 3rd position. That is the 01 of Zach Flickinger, back in the same car he won this event in last year. As you see on the right side of your screen, your starting lineup for today's race. The goal here for this race, as well as next week at the next elimination race of Zen Joltis, is to be inside the top 8 in points. If you can get a win in either today's race or next week's, if you're a chaser, you're already locked into the next round of the championship. So that's a weight off your shoulders, but if you have to get in on points, you want to be above the cutoff line, 8th position. And as I stated, this will be a caution-free race. I did not say it will be an incident-free race. That means that these drivers, if trouble breaks out, there will be no caution to bunch these drivers back up. So basically, it's going to be a you got it or you don't. And we could see some chasers become some innocent bystanders in some wrecks here today as well. Could make things very interesting heading into next week's elimination races in Joltis. Only 2 championship contenders made their way into the final round of qualifying. Chris Dodd, who's starting on the pole, and Jessica Shelton, you see, starting back there in 6th place. So those 2 may have the upper hand on the rest of their chase competitors in the fact that they have good starting track position for today's race. And we'll have to see, as mentioned, those drivers that are starting near the rear that are championship competitors like Anthony McCurry, James Richardson, Dylan Poteet, Zachary Fitzwater. Are they going to be able to make it through the calamity and mayhem of this race in 25 laps and be able to get themselves at least a decent finish to keep themselves in the top 8 in points? We're more than likely going to have pit stops come into play in this race as well, so could pit strategy come into play with maybe some early pitting or trying to stretch it maybe? We'll find all that out in mere moments. Chris Dodd, the first time he went to victory lane in his career was a road course when he started on the pole, and it was Mid-Ohio a few weeks ago. He followed it up with another win the following week at Kentucky. He starts on the pole here today at the road course of Lime Rock, and he and Nathan Hudson will lead the 42-car field down here to the flag stand. Flagman's ready. Green flag's in the air. Chase race number 5 is underway. Down into turn 1 they go. Everybody trying to keep it double file. And wow, a couple cars running way high there. They're 3 wide further back already. That's Kyle Keith in the middle of rookies Kat Tellier and Pichu London. Well, Pichu London actually is not a rookie. I cleared that discrepancy up in knockout qualifying. They're 3 wide further back again. That's a chaser in the middle. Jake Baskinger with Levi McIntyre and Dallas McIntosh. And they come through now into one of the toughest portions of the track, the bus stop. Oh, they are still 3 wide. I think that might be Kyle Matthews continuing that 3 wide situation there. It is. And this could be very dangerous coming down here into the final few corners. Looks like they got through it okay, though. As the current leader is Nathan Hudson. He got out in front of the pole sitter Chris Dodd. Joseph Srigley now all over the back bumper of Chris Dodd for second. See if anybody's run into trouble yet. William Brockway back here. Oh, Chaser involved in something. Carson Scott in the 38, and we have an incident on the front straightaway. Emmanuel Hartnett badly mangled. Trent Dunham was on pit road along with Joshua Michaels. So we have not gone without incident. Dylan Young involved, Dougie Shears as well. But up to this point, from what I can see, only one chaser has been involved in something, and that's the 38 of Carson Scott. You see right side damage on, right and left side damage on Zachary Fitzwater. He might have gotten involved in that incident coming out of the final corner. John Arndt has also sustained some damage, but Fitzwater is still running. Charles Samper also with damage on the right side, and looks like maybe some damage on the rear of his Los Angeles Angels Chevrolet. Contact there between Marie Minobi and Kat Tellier. Tellier off track as everybody's trying to scatter to avoid Dylan Young and Emmanuel Hartnett, who are both still sitting against the steel guardrail there. There's Jessica Shelton. She's dropped back to 10th after starting 6th and now finds herself a spot in front of James McLeod. And now Jake Baskinger there, currently scored in 12th. He's now battling with Ryan Madden for that position. So right now it looks like Dodge, Shelton, Baskinger, and Matthews are in the best positions at the moment. As back up front, it is all Nathan Hudson leading the way. Chris Dodd now seems to be in firm control of 2nd. Srigley now back in 3rd. Zach Flickinger there in 4th. And Michael Norman currently completes the top 5. He's got Cody Lamas trying to reel him in for that spot, and Lamas gets a nice run there out of the final turn. Here's the battle for 5th. Cody Lamas with the inside advantage on Michael Norman. Will Norman have to give way here in this corner? Norman will be now have the preferred line into this turn. See if he can get the 5th position back, but now Cody Lamas coming to a right-hander has the inside line. Looks like he will clear Michael Norman and move Cody Lamas into the top 5. Meanwhile, we had a battle up here again for 2nd place. Chris Dodd had Joseph Srigley on his back bumper going into 1, but looks like that battle is settled out. Let's see if anybody else has been involved in anything since we looked last. And yes, Marie Minobi's been involved in an incident. As you can see over on the right side of your screen, you can see what has happened to these particular drivers at these certain points in time. Since we are going caution-free, we are unable to go back and look at replays, so we have a live look-in replay for you on the right side of your screen as Leon Alvarez trying to get by the now lap machine of Joshua Michaels. Alvarez right now running in 9th, just ahead of him, or 19th rather, now 18th, and just ahead of him Levi McIntyre in 17th. Those two obviously were former chasers, got eliminated in the first round of the chase. Just inside the top 20, looking at Benjamin Miles in the 25, he's currently 15th place. Miles winning at, where was it? I almost just said it. Indianapolis, to make his way into the 2nd round of the chase. Have himself locked up a spot. Move further up there is Jake Baskinger in the 13th position. Baskinger trying to get himself into the top 10, but he's got a couple of cars ahead of him that he'll have to pass. Jessica Shelton now is about to fall outside of the top 10. Ryan Madden bypassing her, and I believe that was for the 11th position. Moves Shelton back to 12th. So Shelton's car might not be handling quite to her liking as she dropped from 6th now all the way back to 12th position. Meanwhile, up ahead, car that is on the move is Cody Lamas. He got by Michael Norman moments ago for 5th. He now is moved by Zach Flickinger rather, for the 4th position. And I believe we may have a battle here for 2nd again. Chris Dodd having difficulty getting off the final corner. And Joseph Srigley now is going to challenge him for that position once more, and he will have him cleared, it looks like, going into 1. So Chris Dodd drops back to 3rd, but they're all chasing this guy, Nathan Hudson, who's trying to pick up excuse me, trying to pick up his first career win in his rookie season. Nathan Hudson going to be driving for his own team next year. Anime Racing Team with some teammates in Daniel Voiles and Matt McIntyre. Some more smoke kicked up there out of the final corner. I don't know if somebody else has been involved in something or not. Doesn't appear so. There's Carson Scott. He is 37th, and I believe he is off the lead lap. He's a lap down, yes indeed. But he at least is still running. All of our chasers are still running. We do have 3 drivers that have officially retired from the race. Marie Minobi, Dylan Young, and Dougie Shears. I believe Emmanuel Hartnett will not be far behind. Trent Dunham, I think the 1 car has actually returned back to the racetrack. Yes, he has. He is multiple laps down, currently scored in 38th. There is last week's winner from Armory Digital Superspeedway, Sean Galligan, who started near the rear of the field. Galligan's been able to work his way up now to the 27th position. Anthony McCrory, who started all the way back in dead last, has worked his way up to 28th. Now, the good news right now for McCrory is he's running ahead of a couple of other chase drivers. Zachary Fitzwater back in 32nd. Dylan Poteet way back in 34th. And, of course, Carson Scott a lap down in 37th. Nathan Hudson, though, he is on cruise control. Last time by, he had 4 3/4 seconds advantage between himself and Joseph Srigley. And Chris Dodd better look in his rearview mirror. He may have another challenge. Cody Lamas, I think, has been maybe one of the fastest cars on the racetrack right now. He's definitely picked up an awful lot of spots. Getting by Michael Norman, getting by Zach Flickinger. As a matter of fact, we actually have a new driver up inside the top 5. Kyle Keith just made the pass for 5th place on Zach Flickinger. So Keith working his way up towards the front. Flickinger now drops back to 6th. And here's a battle for 7th. Aaron Henderson, Michael Norman, and Ryan Madden. This could get very interesting very soon. And Henderson will lose 2 spots out of the final turn. Move Michael Norman up to 7th place. Ryan Madden up to 8th. And Madden wants to go for 7th off of Michael Norman now. James McLeod right there in this mix, as well as Elijah Gordon. And look who else is moving his way towards the front. Benjamin Miles now up to the 13th position, trying to reel in fellow chaser Jake Baskinger. The one driver that's really been dropping through the field is Jessica Shelton. She's now dropped back, I think, to the 15th position. She just lost 14th to Levi McIntyre a couple of turns ago. Elijah Gordon, Aaron Henderson battling here. This is for, I believe, the 10th position. And now is a battle between chasers, Benjamin Miles, Jake Baskinger. That, I believe, is for 12th. And Miles will take it. Whoa! A little contact there between Levi McIntyre and Jake Baskinger. And now Baskinger is going to lose more positions. He loses a spot to McIntyre. Now he loses one to Shelton. So drop Baskinger, I believe, back now to the 15th position. Benjamin Miles fighting his way up here towards the front, no doubt about that, and he's definitely got a fast race car. You got to wonder about pit stops here, too. Nathan Hudson's got a huge advantage over everybody else. And I'm not really sure if pit strategy can help you cut down an over 5-second lead. We've got the 2 U.S. Army cars battling each other, one out of Sega Motorsports, one out of Flickinger Motorsports. And Ryan Madden will make the pass on last year's winner at this racetrack, Zach Flickinger. That was for position number 6. And now Michael Norman looking for 7th place. As we got some cars on pit road. That's Charles Sanford, Zachary Fitzwater, and I couldn't tell who the other car was. John Arndt. So we might have the start of pit stops here. Now these 3, the reason they come to pit road as early as they did, I think, though, is because they had sustained damage from earlier incidents. Came down pit road early to get the damage repaired. So now the question is, for the cars that are not damaged, how soon do they come to pit road? 2 chasers there, Fitzwater and Sanford. And I believe they've actually lost a lap as well in the process. Dylan Poteet now on pit road. And I don't think Poteet was involved in anything, so now we might start seeing the leaders starting to come to pit road. If you're Nathan Hudson, I would say pit as soon as you can. Get yourself the fresh tires and continue to open up the gap on everybody else. There is going to be a slower car up ahead for Nathan Hudson to have to deal with momentarily. That is William Brock in the 15, who's right now the last car on the lead lap in the 31st position. And I don't know, depending on how much difficulty Nathan Hudson may have with William Brock, it could help drivers like Joseph Strigley, Cody Lamas be able to reel in the race leader, Nathan Hudson. Kyle Keith got by Chris Dodd, moved him up to the 4th position. It's been a pretty good run for a couple of the Sega Motorsports cars here today. Keith running in 4th, and Ryan Madden right now scored in 6th. And Cody Lamas will be the first of the leaders to come to pit road, giving up the 3rd position. So we'll have to see how this helps the 78 car in terms of fresh rubber. Chris Dodd also on, along with Ryan Madden. Zach Flickinger in as well as Levi McIntyre, Aaron Henderson, Jessica Shelton, her teammate Kyle Matthews, Joshua Sakuli, Leon Alvarez. Kat Tellier is in as well. Pichu London, Dallas McIntosh, Tim Walsh, Brandon Gonzalez, James Richardson, Sean Galligan, and Anthony McCrory. Oh, and apparently Nathan Hudson was on pit road, and I didn't even see it. Yes, he was. He's just now leaving pit road. So the lead got cycled over to Joseph Strigley. Let's see if the 05 will be pitting this time. And yes, he will. Kyle Keith will come in as well. Michael Norman, he's headed in, as is McLeod, Benjamin Miles. That was your top 5 of the drivers that stayed out. Elijah Gordon is in. Cole Baker will stay out, though. Michaels is in. Acavito is in. JT Bryant right now scored 13th. We'll see if he's coming in before we jump to the leader, Baker, and indeed he will come in. So Cole Baker will stay out and lead a lap here. Cole Baker was close to going to victory lane back at Salem, but it was close, no cigar. And we'll have to see how this works out for Cole Baker, staying out an extra lap and maybe coming to a pit road all by his lonesome. We'll see where he cycles out. I don't know where he was running before the first group of drivers came to pit road, but he was running in 8th after the second group came in and then jumped up top of the leaderboard. Baker will undoubtedly be coming to pit road this time, and indeed he is. So now let's jump to the 7 of Nathan Hudson, who right now is just heading towards the bus stop. And Cole Baker's team better get going. They better make that pit stop quick, as Jake Baskinger's got some damage. He's back in the 35th position now with rear end damage on the 59. Not certain what happened to him. I also noticed Dallas McIntosh had some rear end damage, so maybe we had an incident that we didn't know about, as Nathan Hudson's about to put William Brock down a lap. There's a car on pit road. That's Cole Baker. That's going to get passed, and so that is the pass for the lead. Move Nathan Hudson back to the top of the leaderboard, and he now puts William Brock down a lap. Cody Lamas is now up to 2nd after the pit stops. He was one of the first to hit pit road. 3rd place now Joseph Strigley. 4th is Kyle Keith, and 5th would be Ryan Madden. 6th Michael Norman. 7th is Chris Dodd. 8th place Benjamin Miles. 9th James McLeod. 10th Zach Flickinger, but the 8th, 9th, and 10th position are all under contest. 11th place would be Levi McIntyre. 12th place Elijah Gordon. 13th place under contest, Cole Baker and Kyle Matthews. 15th place would be, looks like Jessica Shelton. 16th, Aaron Henderson. 17th, Joshua Sakuli. 18th place would be Grayson Acavito. 19th is Leon Alvarez. And 20th is Kat Tellier. Let's find out where the rest of our chasers are currently running. James Richardson right now scored 23rd. 24th for Anthony McCrory. Charles Sanford is in 28th. Carson Scott still 37th off the lead lap. Zachary Fitzwater is 31st. I think he might be actually a lap down as well. No, he's not. He's still on the lead lap. And there's Jake Baskinger, who also is currently scored on the lead lap. But he is in the 33rd position and in danger of going a lap down to the leader, Nathan Hudson. Fastest car on track for this session, Levi McIntyre, a 50.639. Then Ryan Madden. Nathan Hudson, the leader, was 3rd fastest. John Arton, Anthony McCrory, the top 5 in fastest speeds here in this race. Nathan Hudson This team, ever since getting around Chris Dodd for the lead, they have just been dominating. This has been a familiar sight that we have seen at these road courses. You go back to Mid-Ohio, Chris Dodd dominated that race. You go to Yas Marina Circuit, Zach Flickinger pretty much all but dominated that race. And now Nathan Hudson dominating this race at Lime Rock. As things stand right now, Chris Dodd is the highest running chaser. Currently situated at, oh, it looks like Dylan Poteet also fell a lap down. We forgot to mention that. He's in 35th. Chris Dodd currently scored back in the 6th position. He may lose that spot. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He's actually in 7th place now. And he may lose that spot to Zach Flickinger. And he might want to also look in his rearview mirror because Benjamin Miles, who is the 2nd highest chaser, currently running in 9th, is starting to reel him in. That time by, with dealing with traffic, Cody Lamas has closed up the gap between himself and Nathan Hudson to 3.9 seconds. And Hudson has to deal now with Jake Baskinger in the 59. Cody Lamas is going to have to start dealing with traffic, though. He's got Dylan Poteet just ahead. Poteet, I believe, is still up to speed, though. And Hudson still trying to get around Baskinger. Now he'll try and find a way to the inside, coming here into the final corner. Has to literally force a hole to the inside, and he will finally make the pass on the chaser Jake Baskinger. Let's see what Cody Lamas's gap now between himself and Hudson is, and it cut down a little bit. Contact right there between himself and Dylan Poteet. Cut down by about 5/1000ths. That's not going to do, or 5/100ths, I'm sorry. That's not really going to help Cody Lamas, and now Cody is in a battle here with the lap machine of Dylan Poteet. He'll now clear him. As Nathan Hudson has cleared himself of lap traffic and now sets his sights on running some more fast laps. Next car he would encounter, if at all, would be this these two cars. Zachary Fitzwater battling here with Daniel Voiles. That is for position, I believe. Voiles now back to 32nd. Fitzwater up to 31st. John Artin 30th just ahead. And Hudson may catch them. I don't know. He's got 5 laps to go. He was just shown by the flagman, but I don't rightly know if he's going to catch up to these guys or not. This is a battle, actually, for position on track right now between William Brock and Jake Baskinger. Brock in 34th, Baskinger in 33rd, and that's not what Cody Lamas wants to see ahead of him. And Baskinger will hang on to the spot right now. Keep in mind, for Baskinger, every position counts because every position is a point that could maybe help him stay in the top 8 in the point standings. So he's going to be fighting William Brock for that position, tooth and nail, for the remainder of this session. There's no doubt about that. As Nathan Hudson hits the stripe, and we have 4 laps to go here at Lime Rock. Here's the battle again for 33rd. William Brock trying to take the position away from Jake Baskinger. Baskinger continuing to fight. And as these two battle amongst themselves, that allows Cody Lamas to reel in this group. Nathan Hudson's got Zach Fitzwater, the next car he'd encounter. Fitzwater somewhere around, I'd say about 4 seconds ahead of Nathan Hudson. I don't think if Hudson does catch him, I would say it would be either the white flag lap or just coming to the checkered. I think there's just enough distance that Nathan Hudson may not have to be bothered with any more lap traffic. And I'm pretty sure these drivers are all good to go on fuel. They came down pit road between laps 13 to 14, so I think they are all good to go on fuel mileage. The one thing that would have me worried is if we saw these guys, Zachary Fitzwater and John Arndt, hitting pit road this lap. If they did, then there would be a big question mark on whether these other guys can make it. Keep in mind, if it did come down to that, Cole Baker stayed out an extra lap over everybody else, so maybe he's good to go on fuel if the others aren't. It's that question of whether these drivers can make it on fuel or not, but Nathan Hudson's certainly hoping he can make it on fuel. Quite honestly, if I'm Nathan Hudson, I'd start coasting a little bit, try saving some fuel. Cody Lamas now has reeled in Jake Baskinger. That's not for position, though. And Nathan Hudson, it's going to hit 2 to go here at Lime Rock. Nathan Hudson has dominated this race. He has led every single lap but 2. The other 2 drivers that have led laps here today were, I believe, Joseph Srigley and Cole Baker. And that was only during the cycle of green flag pit stops. 3.71 seconds, the advantage Hudson had over Cody Lamas. Also has 2 lap machines between himself and the 78. Strike that, make it 1 as Cody Lamas has gotten around Jake Baskinger. But now has William Brock between himself and Nathan Hudson. And Nathan Hudson comes off the final corner. He will see the white flag. 1 more lap to go. We got a driver that's hit pit road. Couple drivers. Jessica Shelton on pit road. Could not make it on fuel. And the other one is John Arndt. That's a tough break there for Shelton. Apparently they must not have gotten that car completely full of fuel or something on the green flag stop. She had to come to pit road. John Arndt was one of the first cars to hit pit road. And so now the question mark of, can Nathan Hudson make it around 1 more lap on a tank of fuel? And I would think he can. He and Cody Lamas also both came to pit road on the same lap, so they both would be on the same sequence as far as how much fuel they've got in the tank. But it's going to be a couple of downhill turns here for Hudson, so maybe he can just coast it to the finish line. Coming to the final corners, Nathan Hudson in his rookie season is going to pick up his first career Hersheys Cup Series win. He'll take the checkered flag here today in a dominating performance at Lime Rock. First win of his career, first win of the year for Michael Norman Motorsports. And Hudson's been close a couple of times. He just hasn't been able to close the deal. Well, he closed the deal out today in dominating fashion. Started the race in second, got the lead early in the first few corners from Chris Dodd. Never, ever looked back. Don't know if the race standings are official yet or not. No, they are not, but we know the top 10 at least are official. And I noticed a name that popped up in there, and it's actually, ironically enough, the only chaser to finish this race in the top 10. Kyle Matthews will finish the day out in the 9th position. Race standings are now official. It'll be Nathan Hudson officially with the win. Cody Lamas. Boy, it's just been a bridesmaid season for that 78 team. I don't know how many second place finishes that car has now, but he'll finish second here today. Ryan Madden will finish in third, and Michael Norman in fourth. Michael Norman Motorsports finished the day out first, third, fourth. What a statement for that team here today. Joseph Srigley will get fifth. Kyle Keith finishes sixth. Zach Flickinger, pretty good in his career here at this racetrack. A win and a 7th place finish. Elijah Gordon will finish the day out in 8th. 9th place for Kyle Matthews, the highest finishing chaser of the day, and James McLeod will finish the day out in 10th. Benjamin Miles, Chris Dodd, Grayson Acavito, 3 chasers finish 11th, 12th, and 13th. 14th for Joshua Sekuli, Cole Baker in 15th. Leon Alvarez, Levi McIntyre, Aaron Henderson. Anthony McCurry, who started this race from last, finishes 19th, and Kat Taylor completes the top 20. As we'll take a look and see the rest of the field, Sean Galligan, last week's winner, finishes 21st. Rest of our chasers, James Richardson finishes in 23rd, Charles Samper in 27th, and then the rest of the chasers, with the exception of Fitzwater, last car on the lead lap, 29th, finished a lap down. Jessica Shelton in 31st, had to make a pit stop in the closing stages. Jake Baskinger finishes 32nd, Dylan Poteet in 33rd, and then Carson Scott, in an early incident getting involved, finishes in the 37th position. And we had 4 drivers finish out of the race: Marie Minobi, Dylan Young, Emmanuel Hartnett, and Dougie Shears. So that's going to do it here. Kyle Matthews could be in good position heading into next week at Zen Joltis. Also, maybe Chris Dodd, Grayson Acavito, Benjamin Miles, those guys could be in good shape as well. But it's going to be interesting to see who is inside the top 8 in points right now and who would currently be sitting in the danger zone 9th through 12th, heading into definitely a wild card race next week at Zen Joltis and our second elimination race of this chase for the championship. But congratulations to Nathan Hudson on his first career Hersheys Cup Series win here today at Lime Rock. Hope you enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We'll show you now your official rookie points, your overall point standings, and your chase points heading into next week. Get ready for 4 or 5, maybe even 6 wide racing next week at Zen Joltis, as you've been watching a production of the NCRA Offline Racing at its best.
Oh, don't think it's your
He's going for it! He's going for it!
It's gonna be a photo finish.
Side by side to the line! Hudson and Sidner! Who is it? I think it was Sidner. It might have been. It was! Holy cow! Oh, look out, Charles, behind you! No!